I know many of you are backing David and many of you are here to find out what his campaign is all about. I'm backing David because I think he has the vision, the values, but also the strength and gravity of leadership, not just to be a really effective leader of the opposition later this autumn, but also to be the next Prime Minister of our country, and a really great one at that. So it's really great to have you here.
Well, Wes and Douglas and Pam, it's fantastic to be here. I just want to say a couple of words tonight. First of all, about the sort of Britain I want to live in, and secondly, about the sort of Labour Party that we need to build that Britain. The sort of Britain I want to live in is one where power is properly redistributed to people so that they have control over their own lives. The sort of Britain I want to live in is one where merit and effort is rewarded so that opportunities are more equal. And I think it's also important to say that the sort of Britain I want to live in is one where our global connections are celebrated. And in this city, a city that is the ultimate global city, we should be saying that the fact that this is a country engaged with the world, that this is a country which doesn't shirk its responsibilities around the world, that this is a country where people come from around the world to make their lives here, is something that benefits our country and that we should stand up for. And that sort of Britain, I think, is one that we can build from where we are. Because there is a great Tory effort to trash the last 13 years, and we should not be part of that. And one of our jobs over the next few months when we're fighting a leadership election campaign is to defend our record. Yes, we will be humble about what we didn't get right. I would say we should be more humble about our mistakes. That will be one of the themes of my campaign. But we're humble, but we're not on our knees. Because actually this is a fairer, richer, better, more confident country than it was 13 years ago. And one reason that Wes can represent an idealistic but not dogmatic student generation is that the political centre of gravity has shifted in our country. And the fact that no political party at this general election was saying cut overseas aid, the fact that no political party was saying let's roll back on civil partnerships, the fact that no political party was saying that the NHS was a thing of the past, those are all things that should give us confidence about our ability to shift the political agenda in a progressive direction. So I think we have to nurture and burnish that notion of the sort of Britain we want to live in. Because the truth is that an election campaign for the leadership of the Labour Party can't end just with leading the Labour Party. The reason that we're involved in politics is that we want to change the country. And we need the sort of Labour Party that's able to do that. And that's really the second thing I just want to say a word about, because I think it's really, really important. As we think about a future policy offer, we've also got to think about the way we conduct our politics. And I think this is something where we can learn from Young Labour, and it's something where we can learn from Labour students as well. We had an amazing student turnout from Lancaster University. I was there on the second Monday of the election campaign. And we canvassed till 9:30, 9:45, and we had 25 Young Labour and Labour students from the university, passionate about the sort of country they wanted to live in, but also they wanted a different kind of Labour Party. They wanted a Labour Party that was more open. They wanted a Labour Party that devolved responsibility. They wanted a Labour Party that listened to them more. They wanted a Labour Party that was a living, breathing movement, not just an electoral machine. And I think that's a really, really important thing in this election campaign. Because the truth is, you can't have open, pluralistic, egalitarian politics and policies if you have a structure that is closed and centralised and inegalitarian. And it's a really important point for this, and it means a lot to me, that building an open, pluralistic Labour Party, a Labour Party that engages with its communities, a Labour Party that is a movement that really wants to listen to people and discuss with people what they think, whether they're in the party or not, is the way to build a successful movement for change, which is what we have to do. And so we want to run this campaign in a way that we'd like to run the Labour Party and eventually run the country, which is in an open way, an inclusive way, and in a way which says, I think it was Obama who said, we should be able to disagree without being disagreeable. We've got to be able to engage on the basis of respect. And one of the things we're going to do is hold meetings for people who are supporters of mine, but also people who are not. Because in the end, we're going to have to live as a party together afterwards, and we're going to have to build as a movement together afterwards. But let me just say one final thing, and it pains me to say it, but Douglas and I, we're not the young ones in politics anymore. We used to be the 20-somethings, and we're not anymore. But the truth is, the lifeblood of the party comes from the ideas of the next generation. And I think that there is a big role for idealistic but not dogmatic people who want to make this country a better place, a fairer place, a more sustainable place. And I believe that the values and the ideas that have been inculcated in this generation over the last 13 years are progressive values. And that means that the roots of our movement should be strong over these years of opposition. But we have to do everything we can to minimize the damage of what is a conservative government with Liberal Democrat support, minimize the damage, but also prepare ourselves to be an alternative government. And for that, we can try and lead it, but we need you to be part of it. Because the truth about the modern world is that if your politics isn't inclusive, it won't be successful. And that's the basis on which we campaign, that's the basis we're here tonight, and that's the basis on which we're looking forward to talking to you. Thank you very much indeed.